Hello everybody, hope you're doing fantastically well. It is Connor and we are back here with your big match preview against Leeds against Crystal Palace, of course. Woodbury Boy has come out and given his press conference today. We're going to discuss that. We're going to discuss the Premier League going into this weekend. It is massive. It's a massive weekend for so many teams. And we're going to have a quick look at the Premier League table as well and just look at where Leeds can get to the beneficiaries of winning this weekend, which I know sounds pretty obvious, but I still think a lot of Leeds fans are seemingly okay with the draw, which we've got to raise those expectations, people. We have, because that bottom three still is within touch, unfortunately, and a 5-point gap at the minute just seems absolutely incredible if Leeds were to get that and results were to go our way. So Roy has confirmed that there are 4 absentees. Richards, I believe, Ferguson, and the main two, which is Gaeta, who is Crystal Palace's goalkeeper, who started 27 out of 29 games for them this season, and most importantly, Wilf Zaha, which I think is an absolute blessing for Leeds. I do think anytime Leeds have come up against Crystal Palace and Zaha's been playing, he's the problem. He's extremely talented, 30 years of age, but he doesn't seem to be slowing down. He can go left, can go right. He's got an excellent sort of balance. He's fantastic with either foot when it comes to striking a ball as well. And listen, he occupies 2 or 3 games. He's got the Rafinhas about him. He really has in terms of technical ability. So I would be very worried if he was playing. I think his interchanging with Eberechi Eze and Elise when they're all on the pitch together is a serious problem. I think we saw that at Selhurst Park a couple of seasons ago when Bielsa was there. So I'm really happy he's not going to be featuring for this one. I think that's as seismic as maybe, let's say, a Sinistera not playing for Leeds, or, you know, I don't know, a Weston McKennie in terms of influence not being available for Leeds in this game as well. So it's a big plus for Leeds. It's a huge blow for Crystal Palace. It looks like he's going to be out for a month. If you're taking that into context as well, that seemingly means that he's going to be out for a massive portion of Palace's games when they're playing teams that are in and around Leeds United. Is that an advantage for Leeds? Definitely so. I'd point to that as well. I think it would be a little bit naive, and I've said this on the video yesterday, to take Crystal Palace lightly. They are out of the rest, which is that, you know, the bottom 8 of the Premier League. They are top of that bottom 8, and it is a mini league at the minute. They do have good players. You know, I look at that bottom 8, and I think there are probably 2 teams in that bottom 8, which is crazy with where they are, and I will agree with that. Who have very, like, for me, very decent squads to be where they are, and that is Crystal Palace and that is Leicester. Leicester, I'm still dumbfounded with where they are and how they're in this predicament. And I do think at some point, unless a certain manager comes in who's been quoted today, who we don't need to get into, I'm sure you guys have all read the reports, but this Premier League season is getting more nuts by the day. But I don't expect Leicester to go down still. Crystal Palace as well, I don't think they're going to go down. I really don't. I think they've got too many good fixtures. But, you know, players been out, players like Wilf Zaha, who have massive influences. Let's not forget, you know, not long ago, before Roy came in, they'd not won since before the World Cup. So Palace have been on a massive downturn. I think Zaha been out for another, 4 or 5 games in this relegation run is going to be massive. But yeah, Roy was coming out today and saying that the absentees are still Ferguson and Richards, who we all know have been out for quite a while now. But I think the poignant ones are Gaeta, who, as I've said, has started the majority of Palace's games, and Wilf Zaha. So massive pluses for Leeds there. Never underestimate a starting goalkeeper being out, and that's why I'd like Leeds to, it's like an old cliche, but to get shots on goal and test the new man being, you know, between the sticks. So I think that's going to be essential for this weekend. I think the Ellen Road crowd, I'm going to be there at the weekend, which I'm absolutely delighted to say I'll be there with Big Paul. A lot of you will have seen Paul on the channel. And I'm excited to get down there, meeting at the Peacock for 1 o'clock if anyone wants to come in and say hi. But yeah, looking forward to this one. And I think I am more anxious. We did a Generation Leeds yesterday. If anybody's interested, that's where me and my dad talk about everything in football and Leeds United. And we put it on a Patreon account. The link's in the description below. All proceeds go to just the running of the channel. And me and my dad were talking about, you know, the expectation on Leeds for this game. And I think it is massive. I think, you know, they've got to go out and get a win here. I don't want to be waiting 8 days and then facing Liverpool on a Monday night. I want Leeds to be going into this fixture buoyant, driven, off the back of a really good performance against Nottingham Forest, a win and a really good performance. I want us to beat Crystal Palace, naturally, but then imagine the drive we'd have going into that Liverpool game. And do you know what, everybody? I've said this in my prediction, and we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, of course we don't. But if we win this game and we go into Liverpool on Monday night at Ellen Road under the lights, I will be so excited for that game, really, because they're the games that you get back up to the Premier League for. But as well, 3 wins out of 4 if we do manage to beat Crystal Palace. Going into the Liverpool game at home, Leeds making Ellen Road a little bit more of a fortress recently. I think we've got a real chance of getting something there. When you look at the likes of Bournemouth getting results off Liverpool not long ago, and Liverpool being completely out of sorts this season, and Leeds beating them at Anfield. So this is a real point in time now where Leeds can build up momentum, and momentum is huge in football, everybody. It is massive, as we all know. So I don't want to be going into that Liverpool game on the back of a defeat. I would love to go into that Liverpool game, and I'd be so excited for that 8 days to build up excitement at Ellen Road. Monday, 8 o'clock, under the lights, Leeds versus Liverpool off the back of a win. Now, hold your horses, Connor. Bring that back, of course. But for me, this Palace team is talented. Eberiche Eze, Michael Elise. I think they've got a lot of talented players, a lot of experienced players as well. And Roy will be playing to those percentages that we know we will be doing. But I don't think they're going to be playing attractive football. They did manage 31 shots against Leicester, though, which was staggering, really. Absolutely staggering. But at this moment in time, believe it or not, I do think Leeds are actually a better team than Leicester. So, huge game for Leeds. Huge game. Do I think we can get it done? I do think we can get it done. I saw an article today asking if I'd make any changes, and I've gone through a video yesterday where Grazia has almost been urged by fans, and the media have asked him if he's going to be making any changes. The key decisions being Brendan Aronson, Patrick Bamford and Luke Ayling. Let me know in the comment section below if you would rotate those players. We do have options to be able to rotate those players. But for me, I don't think you change a winning team. And I think, once again, that is an old cliche in football, but I really think it runs true. If you're able to build synergy and cohesion with members in your team, and you're able to build partnerships in your team and combinations, and you're winning off the back of that, that is hugely advantageous. But Leeds are in a position now where we could end the weekend on 32 points. That gets me a little bit giddy inside, to be quite honest with you. It narrows, obviously, how many points we need toward the back end of the season. And a lot of teams have got tough fixtures this weekend. And we're going to get into that in just a little bit after I read some of your comments. Ryan says, need to take advantage of No Zaha. Another must win, I agree, Sam. Need Christensen at fullback from the start, says Warren. 3 points all day. Joe Brammer says, be in such a great spot with 3 points against Palace. Xavier says, hello from Spain. You happy? You guys happy with Xavi at the minute, mate? I am. Yep, he's doing well. Loving Xavi, says Scooby-Doo. Hope he stays at least 2 years. He's just what the doctor ordered. Glad that Firpo is alive. Harrison can go on the beach now. He has a file. Oh, don't say that, Andrew. Yeah, and it's a good point, though. It is a good point. We saw like a downturn a little bit in Jack's performances after the Leicester interest and all this sort of stuff post-January. I'm hoping, you always get those contract talks, don't you, where players seemingly go off a cliff when they get a contract. Let's hope Jack doesn't do that. He doesn't seem like that sort of character. I'm going to put his poor form post-January and post-Leicester, interest down to just circumstances of Leeds being abysmal as a team. But yeah, let's hope that doesn't happen. Richard says, Gabe, if Marsh goes there, Gabe's in here talking about more other clubs again. Gabe, start talking about Leeds, mate. I'm going to the bookies. Let's have a look at what some of you guys are saying. Even I am Barca fan. This Connor guy talks very well, and we all respect Leeds in here in Spain. Thanks, Xavier. I really appreciate that, mate. We did send you Rafinha as well. Let us know how he's doing. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the weekend, mate. It's just about to start, my friend. It's just about to start. But yeah, so a lot of positive things to go into the weekend with here. I'm just gonna share my screen, everybody, and we're just gonna look at some fixtures this weekend. If you wouldn't mind as well, everybody, please slap a like on the video. It's free. and it just gives me and the channel, like Gabe and Brownie, a little bit of a boost as well, and just means that we get seen by more Leeds fans, your friends, your family, other people you know of who are trying to get into Leeds United, who have followed Leeds United for many years and are looking for some content. Okay, so let's have a quick look at this, shall we? So, yeah, so the Premier League table, let's have a little bit of a zoom in at the minute. So as you can see, everybody, this is Leeds United's position going into the weekend, which is largely exciting. Leeds have managed to get 7 wins. If you actually look at Crystal Palace there, we're kind of matching them, really. And that is because of Leeds' turn in form. Now, as you can see, before Roy's come in, they've lost 4 on the bounce. It is key to note, and I have mentioned this before, I do think Roy will keep Crystal Palace out of the relegation zone for quite a big period of it, but there's going to be a real tester here with Wilf Zaha not being fit. Leeds United just occupy the position below, but as you can see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 teams all on 27 points, and when you look at sort of West Ham, they have a near to similar goal difference to Leeds United. Thank you, Newcastle, for that one. But if you just look at the goal difference down here, this is key. Bournemouth on -30, Notts Forest on -28. Bournemouth are playing Leicester tomorrow, which is a huge game. We probably need a draw there. Or if anything, you kind of want Leicester to win, because I still don't think Leicester are going to go down. I do think Bournemouth may go down. So at least you're kind of like, cutting off another game and another victory for Bournemouth there. So I'd rather like a draw or 3 points for Leicester there. That's just my personal perspective. A lot of people might think I'm mad there. Everton have got Man United. Forest have got Villa, which is a huge game. Villa are on fire at the minute. Ollie Watkins has scored about 40 goals in his past 10 games, flying. And West Ham will have to look at their fixtures, obviously. But one to look at is obviously Wolves. Lopetegui and Wolverhampton Wanderers seem to have really got out of their stride when it came to him coming in and getting 17 but 18 points I think he's got since he's come in and really turning the fortunes round. But once again, the old adage of you're too good to go down, invariably I understand what people are talking about when they say you can't always rely on that, but a large percentage of the time you are literally too good to go down. It works more often than not. Okay, so we're just going to have a quick look at the Premier League fixtures this weekend as well, if you didn't quite grasp what I was saying there, everybody, because I know, when you look at the Premier League fixtures, it's a little bit better if you are a visual person like myself. So the games this weekend, as you can see here, you've got at the top of the calendar there, Man United versus Everton, which is, if I'm going to predict a few of these, get your comments in the section below. I'm probably going to predict a narrow 2-1 victory for Man United there, so that would keep Everton on the same points. I think Dyche will go there and do what Dyche does. It wouldn't surprise me if Onana grabs a header or whatever, or Talkie's there at back post for Sean Dyche to knock one in. What do you think of that impression? Rate out of 10. But yeah, also I think Man United are without Casemiro, which is big at the minute, but obviously they beat Brentford the other night. I think Forest are going to get whammed by Villa, to be honest. Villa are just flying at the minute. And we look at that Fulham-West Ham game. That's an interesting one at the minute. Leeds have got Fulham very, very soon. I think West Ham will be going there, even off the back of a 5-1 game. I did actually think, I watched that West Ham game, and I did think for the first half, West Ham were really good. I thought they were on par with Newcastle, but I don't know what happened to them the second half. A couple of, 4 or 5 individual mistakes, and they were on the back of an absolute hiding. But, that result, I feel it didn't tell you everything with that game. I think West Ham will be, I do think they'll be fine, and I think they might get something at Fulham. Fulham are a bit, rudderless at the minute. Wolves Chelsea's another big one. Another big one there. I know I've just gone off. I've stopped predicting scorelines there, but I'm just sort of more looking at the game and thinking to myself, I wonder what that result could be. Wolves Chelsea, obviously new manager coming in. Frank somehow got another job, which is hilarious in itself. And Leicester Bournemouth, I think, is the big game of the weekend, and it is at Leicester, to be fair. So I am going to predict, if I am going to predict that game for whatever random reason, I am going to predict a Leicester win there. I think that the players, when you look at, I was just listening to, because this is how sad I am, I was listening to a Bournemouth podcast, and I met the lads on the Overlap. and it's called Back of the Net. Believe it or not, guys, I listen to all the relegation rivals. I listen to all the podcasts because I'm a sad human being and obsessed with football. That's no disparaging comment to any of the podcasts. They're actually very, very, very good. It's just, I probably shouldn't be listening to a Bournemouth podcast on Friday afternoon, but there you go. And they were essentially saying that, they can't believe the mess that Leicester are in, especially when the last time they came to Bournemouth, Daka, Jamie Vardy, Tielemans, Maddison, Harvey Barnes, Ndidi, Mendy in the midfield, Pereira, Castagna fullbacks. It's staggering, it really, really is. So, yeah, unbelievable. But that's probably a key one to look at this weekend, I'd say. I think the players, based on celebrations from the goal last night, know the assignment at hand and are going to get stuck in. Yeah, I'd probably agree with that. West Ham to go down, says Damar. Sounding like Arthur from Peaky. Yeah, it did turn into that, to be fair. I've got a good Peaky Blinders, to be fair. Maybe that was a poor Sean Dyche one. Our goal difference is like another point. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Me and Brownie used to disagree on this one, but I think goal difference is massive in football. Joe says, we're averaging a point a game, Connor. That'll keep us up at the end of the season and we'll be okay. Do you agree? Yeah. If we're able to get that, obviously, I think it's going to be sort of 38 and above. That's going to keep a team up, to be honest. Eamon says, I get what you're saying, Ari, a winning team, but we were only a freak moment from drowning the game, and 3 out of 4 changes could be the difference. It could, Eamon. I do think when you're looking at that game, though, mate, I do think it could have been, I honestly believe this, and I'm not just saying this to be like salty or whatever. I do think that game could have been 4-5-1 to Leeds, and they got quite lucky, I think, Forest, to get out of that one. So, yeah, I know what you mean at the start. Emmanuel Dennis did hit the bar. I think Luke Ayling's my biggest worry at the minute. He is. Bamford's not my biggest worry. If we're looking at out-of-form players, Aronson isn't my biggest worry at the minute, even though he does annoy me. And I would be looking at replacing him. But I think Ayling's my main worry at the minute. I really do. I worry about him defensively. I worry about teams targeting him, which is seemingly happening at the minute. But yeah, as JC says, confidence is going into the Palace game. Just have to keep our concentration and not give up silly errors, and we'll pick up the win. I'd agree. Robert says, I think the players are more comfortable with the manager and will pick up enough to keep us safe. Drama was man of the match again today. Needs to be a starter. This is the thing, though. You pick up, and we're talking about this on Generation Leeds on the Patreon. You pick up a win tomorrow, Sunday. You're on 32. You've got, 9-10 games left, maybe 8-9. You've got 8-9 games left, and realistically, you're needing 38 points. I know Leeds don't do it the easy way, and this is why I'm a little bit. And I know back-to-back wins in the Premier League are ridiculously tough to come by for a team like Leeds, and I think this is why it's going to be a very tough game. It's going to be a real war of attrition in this game, because Palace need the win as well. But I'm just thinking, if we can get to 32 points. And then you've got, let's just have a look at the Premier League table. Then you've got 8 games left to pick up another 2 wins, or even just 6 points in general, That is massive. That is absolutely massive. And I'm not saying we're as good as safe, because I don't think we are, but I think a goal difference and a healthy points tally like that, with 8 games to go, is massive for Leeds. It is massive. So yeah. Louis says 32 points with 8 games left and realistically 1 win and 3 draws. That's it, mate. That's it. Matt says we don't have the worst remaining fixtures in comparison to the others in the mix. Yep. Gabe's still going on about Jesse Marsh. If Jesse can win back-to-back via Liverpool and Bournemouth, Javi can get us a win at Palace at home. Yeah, very true. So yeah, I'm going to go with, you're all going to say I've given them the kiss of death, but I am going to Ellen Road. I do have a good record at Ellen Road. I don't see Leeds lose many times at Ellen Road. So I'm going to go with a similar score as last year. The exact same, really. I think it's going to be tight. I think Palace are going to miss big chances. I think Leeds are going to miss a couple of big chances. I think it's going to be 50-50. But I think Leeds are going to win it. I've got a feeling. I've got a real feeling that Leeds are going to win it. 1-0. I actually said at the start of the week we were going to drop points against Forest. I thought we'd draw against Forest, and I thought we'd beat Palace. So I'm going to stick with what I said at the weekend. I think I'm going to go with, I'm going to go with 1-0 to Leeds United for this one. And if you're going to push me for a scorer, I'm going to go with... I like Gabe's shout on the debrief. I'm going to go with Weston McKennie from a corner. And wouldn't that be fantastic? And Leeds just, grind it out. Palace may be the better team on the day. But yeah, I can see Leeds getting a win. I really can. But guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Really happy you've joined me for this one. It's been 22 minutes. I'm going to go and have an alfresco salad with chicken. And because it's been sunny weather today, I may just have a glass of wine, but who knows? I'm in a good mood today, and hopefully Leeds can brighten my weekend as well. But guys, have a good one. I'll see you on the other side. As I say, I'm going to be at the game on Sunday. If you want to come say hello, please do. I'll be in the Peacock from 1:00-ish. And please come say hello. Really appreciate that, and really appreciate all of your support. Make sure you're liking the content. It's free. If you want to head over to bonus content, we have a Generation Leeds episode out this week with me and my old man. Click the link in the description below. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. As always, we'll be back with content toward the start of next week. We'll have the debrief on Monday or either Tuesday. I'll keep you posted. Probably Monday. And we'll have your post-Palace reaction probably from the ground as well. And we'll probably do what we did last week. I know a lot of you guys enjoyed the 5 things that you may have missed from the Palace game as well. Let's hope that it is a win for Leeds United. Guys, have a good one, and I'll catch you in a bit. Cheers.